off that exhausting hamster wheel and into balanced living with Dr. Marissa.
Promise you joy in the mystery.
Dr. Marissa, also known as the Asian Oprah. Her mission, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Her purpose, to be your personal advocate to live, laugh, love, learn. Her life motto, don't die wondering. Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And welcome. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balanced with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, NBC News, CNBC News, and NBC Sports Radio Station, AM 1050, FM 106.5, home to the Asian Oprah, number one talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere. iHeartRadio, Spotify, iTunes, TuneIn, Audible, Amazon Music, Tiki Live, Rumble, Podchaser, Streaker, Speaker, and more. Why so many places? I want to balance out all that bad news out there. Win the headlines. Balance it out really well. That was an exclamation mark. Balance all the bad news out there with some good news, good shows, good guests, and good people. So today's no exception. We have with us, as you can see in studio, it must be Wednesday because we have my co-host for Straight Talk with Dr. Marissa and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate for Doctors in the House, not Straight Talk.
Oh, did I just say Straight Talk? I'm so sorry. Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
She will do some straight talk sometimes. However, she is a doctor. She's an MD. I'm the PhD, which just stands for Piled Higher and Deeper. But Dr. Tiffanie Tate's a U.S. Navy veteran, published author, retired OBGyn from Compton, California. She's a playwright, singer, poet, songwriter, and more. Published author of many books now, including an important children's book, my favorite, called Bad Touching, which helps parents talk to their kids about things that they should know, but is a little bit sensitive, and Money Matters, and her latest hat being thrown into the political arena, running for Congress. Please welcome back to my studio. She's live streaming from Washington, D.C. right now, Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
As usual, it is always a pleasure to be here and tickle your ear with my voice.
How's DC?
Actually, it is nice. We have a chance of some sprinkles today. I'm a little bit jet lagged from the weather, traveling from the West Coast to the East Coast. So, but happy to be here.
Great. Let's start. I broke my own rule. I asked you that question before we got to breakfast. It is our good life habit, our hashtag Blisscipline, to start every show with breakfast. And that consists of taking a bite of my gratitude sandwich, top of the bun, things we're grateful for when we look outside of ourselves, and bottom of the bun, when we look at the end of the day, we're going to model for you what we'd like you to go through before you go to bed, and thinking about what you appreciate inside of yourself. So qualities, gifts, and abilities that are unique, well, maybe not uniquely yours, but something that you can fall asleep by peacefully, instead of beating yourself up for what you didn't finish or complaining about who done me wrong. So that's the breakfast sandwich. Dr. Tiffanie, besides being in DC, what are you grateful for outside of yourself?
Absolutely. Well, this past weekend, I volunteered with my local sorority chapter, Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, Eta Nu Omega chapter, and we helped to beautify the Riverside Park with Riverside Parks and Recreation. We helped pick up trash in the community at Fairmont Park, and it's part of our community outreach, and it was wonderful to interact with hopefully my future constituents. And we picked up trash, and it was wonderful. I picked up over 10 pounds of trash.
That's quite a bit of trash.
Yes.
That for me, that's called dating. No, Anyways, I am grateful that I, like you, got to be of service. Wonderful group. I love meeting new organizations that are making a difference on temporary areas of darkness. This one, homelessness. The Union Rescue Mission in downtown LA cannot turn away women and children who are without a home. And I got to volunteer, or I was asked to be a speaker for Monday at the Mission. And it's this program that's been going on for many, many years. It is my predecessor speakers were Buzz Aldrin, Russell Brand, my big brother Michael Bernard Beckwith, and I got to speak there on Monday, and that was really beautiful. Speaking to kids who, don't have it easy, right? Because of their situation, but they're taken from the streets and brought into this mission too. They bus them to school, and then this is a volunteer program that happens on Mondays. So I was very grateful to be involved in that.
Wonderful. I think that's fabulous that you are giving back to the community as well. Thank you. You didn't give yourself an applause, so I'm going to give you
All right, for both of us. All right, yeah. I'm sorry?
I said you always have to pat yourself on the back.
That's true. I say, good job, Mama. What else are you grateful for?
And I am grateful because on Sunday after I went to church, I volunteered again to go out into the community and knock on doors for the Election Rigging Response Act, Prop 50, to encourage people to vote yes on Prop 50. And I was able to educate the public, and it was great. I love interacting with people and talking to people. I spent over 25 years talking to people as a problem solver, as an OBGyn. And it's what I do, it's what I thrive on. And I just love it.
Awesome. I am grateful that I got interviewed by CBS, which was kind of uncanny. I went to play Mahjong in the park in conjunction with the city of Santa Monica and East Never Loses Mahjong Club, which I have joined as a participant, and they happened to say she's someone to be interviewed. So that was kind of cool, and got to play Mahjong with giant tiles in the park, which was very fun. Of course, I did win. I'm just a tad competitive. It's not whether you win or lose, it's whether I win or lose, and had a great time with that group. And I am grateful that even though blood clots are keeping me from flying and world tour, I have picked up more Mahjong, something that I love to do to balance out the loss with a game.
Fabulous. I think that's fabulous because you're going to be even better and you're going to be a super pro. So
awesome. One more gratitude outside of yourself.
And I think I have enjoyed the fact that I had a conversation with Nathaniel and Mia, and they were brutally honest because I make like sometimes these little videos and that I want to post, and they were like, "No, Mom, no." And so they said, "You're going to go viral." I said, "Wouldn't that be good?" They were like, "We make memes. In my generation, we make memes." And they said, "You don't want to be a meme." I said, "But wouldn't that be good?" They said, "No, Mom, no." And I like the fact that I could take constructive criticism,
especially from kids, from your kids. That's a skill.
Yes. So I'm thankful that I was able to take the constructive criticism from my own kids. I had the reverse parenting.
That's great. And welcome to Jerry, Fox Locator. Glad to have you captain of the Cashew Gallery this morning. You're the first one to log in. We've got Z Green too, and she is grateful for God's keeping care and grateful to have y'all there. And I'm grateful I had an amazing guest yesterday, 90 years young, Ruta Lee. She was in the Seven Brides for Seven, whatever that was, that movie, classic movie, and also did a movie with the Brat Pack, Dress Down Marlena Dietrich. I mean, she's been a film star, and I had her live again on my show yesterday. What a delight. She has, with her friend who's on the other side, Debbie Reynolds, raised so much money, and I just wanted to do a commercial for the Thalians. It's December 6th. It will be at the Bel Air Country Club. I get to cover the carpet. I get to be a VIP guest there, and she's amazing. A 90-year young woman who just will. She makes me look lazy, right? She makes me look like slow. So I just want to say she's just brilliant. And if you missed the interview, you can get it in my treasure chest of shows after 699 consecutive weeks and 1,480 podcast shows. So I just wanted to be grateful for her, Ruta Lee. All right, let's go to the bottom of the bun. What do you like about yourself, Dr. Tiffanie?
Oh, okay.
I knew you would get that, Z. Sorry. It's Seven Brides for Seven Brothers. I knew somebody was going to get that. Thank you.
So before I go on, I need to, when we talked about mistakes, I was corrected by someone because they said I made a mistake. And I'm happy I made a mistake during the mistakes show. And they said, Tiffanie, you forgot Space Force. Because that is a new branch of the military. So all of our Space Force veterans, I salute you. And then even though they did not correct me on this, I do not want to forget our homegrown National Guardsmen because you deserve recognition too. So I salute our National Guardsmen and those veterans as well. Charge it to my head and not my heart. Thank you for your service. So,
there you go.
Talk
about living out live. The topic of the show, which that week was Miss Tate. So awesome, awesome. That's great.
So now I will henceforth move forward. So what is it that I like about myself?
That you can apologize.
Absolutely. I like the fact that I can recognize my mistake. I can own up to my mistake, and I can walk in my truth, and I can recognize that I am not perfect, and we should not hold ourselves to perfection. To err is human, and I am definitely human. Like we do on our computer, I am not a bot. And I own that. And I think that we need to be more forgiving, and we need to acknowledge the fact that we are human. And I'm willing to walk in my humanness.
Fantastic. I appreciate my ability to inspire. I've gotten a lot of press and really kind words about my ability to encourage people with a little tough love, but say it in the way that they actually enjoy it. And so I appreciate that about myself.
And I like the fact that I am willing to answer the call. What do you mean, Tiffanie? The fact that I am in DC again, and I was just here the week before last, and I feel that there is a need. And when there is a need, I'm willing to answer the need. I'm willing to rise up and answer the call. So I'm here for the Congressional Black Caucus Leadership Conference. Last time I was here for the American Medical Association Campaign School. So I'm willing to do what's necessary to make sure I fill the gap, get the knowledge I need to be the best leader possible, to be the congressional leader that the United States needs. And that's why I'm running for Congress. So
awesome. I am grateful that I allow myself to feel, even when it doesn't feel good, moving through the painful, I'm starting to only cry before I put my makeup on because my makeup is expensive, but just continuing to allow myself to feel the sadness that whenever anyone says something about flying anywhere, it does kind of hit me, and it's a sore point that I will not be able to fly without risk for the rest of my life. And that is, it's okay. I gave myself a month, and it's now more than a month. And so the other day I was like, well, who said that I have to get over it in a month? And that it was, it's quite a bit that just since April, right? Not even, was that a half a year? 2 moms passing, 2 blood clots, cancellation of world tour, no more sailboat racing, and no more flying without risk. So, and moving. So, in terms of allowing myself the grace, I'm giving myself grace, and I appreciate that. I'm not pushing myself to feel artificially okay.
Absolutely. And there is no timeline for grief, no matter what that grief or loss is. So let me add that tagline to that. And
last one.
Another thing I like about myself is my capacity to give, because I can give of myself, be it my time, my talent, my understanding, or my support. And I think that that is important. A lot of times people just want to take. And I think it's important to be there, be willing to stand up, even if people don't want it. I remember when you were diagnosed, and I said, hey, do you want me to drive down there? And you were like, no, I'm good. But I think it's important to be willing to be there for your friends, even if they don't want you there. It's important to offer yourself out of sincere generosity, because you don't know what people are going through and you don't know what they need. But it's the fact that you need to be willing to be there and to offer that support.
Yeah, it was great getting the support from my co-hosts. I have a group chat line with all of them, and they were one of the first peoples that I told, and it was a beautiful, response to that. Thank you, Z Queen. I automatically have and I'll cry if I want to. I never apologize for crying, because tears are the disinfectant that keep my heart soft. So thank you for the exclamation mark, the moose on the table, so to speak. That was a moose drop, and not the droppings on that end, but the acknowledgement that it is so okay to cry. I used to try to cry once a week. Now I overshot that, but it really is a good way to expand your ability to feel good. Because when you allow yourself to feel not so good, then you, like that dumb waiter doors that close. If you don't let yourself feel bad, then you also don't let yourself feel good. So that's why I allow myself to feel as bad as I want to when I'm feeling it. I just don't need to stay there for that long, because I'm naturally high, and I like that feeling of being naturally high. So yes, pity pots are temporary states of being. All right, that's it for breakfast with at Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
Thanks for joining us for breakfast. I hope that you join me every weekday morning, where I do start every show with breakfast and sandwich your day in the most positive way. Thanks for joining us for breakfast. And now for the topic of the day.
Hey, you! Hey! Hey, you!
Woo! What is it, Dr. Tiffanie?
Dun it, dun it, dun it, dun it. The topic for today, emotional predators.
Da, 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 da. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I actually met one of the main actors in The Predator. He was on the show. And Bill Duke, producer, director, and starred opposite. Man, Z Queen, help me again. I have really good memory. My recall sucks when it comes to names of, especially in Hollywood. I don't know why. But anyways, Arnold Schwarzenegger. That's the guy. I was going to say Rocky, but that was the wrong one. Why are we talking about emotional predators, Dr. Tiffanie?
Well, I think in this day and age, there's just so much going on. So many people are emotionally charged and they get revved up and they go from 0, not to 100 because they pass 100. They go from 0 to 1,000. And I think that they get manipulated in so many ways. And because of that, I think that they get taken advantage of. And so I wanted to talk about emotional predators because an emotional predator is a person who manipulates and exploits other people by preying on their emotions to gain power, control, and takes personal advantage of the situation because of their emotions. They often appear very charming, but they lack empathy and use different tactics. And I want to focus on like 5 different statements later on in the show, but I want to see if you can think about situations in your life or things like that to see if you've come in contact with different emotional predators in your life. I know I have.
Well, can you give me an example of someone who was an emotional predator to you? So that'll give me sort of a hint on which.
Okay. Yes. So as I go through some of these statements, you'll be like, "Oh yeah, I've heard these." So if someone has ever said to you, "You are too," and this is like friendships, relationships, family, whatever. I'm sure you've probably experienced this. So someone has said, "You're too sensitive," or "You're being dramatic," "Oh, you are overreacting." Has anyone ever made those statements to you?
Never. Well, the first thing that comes to mind is when I was a kid. Oh my Lord! If I had $1 for every time it was usually my dad, mom, or brother who would say, "You're so sensitive. Why are you so sensitive?" And that went on for a long time until I think in the last 10 years now, I take it as a compliment because I know that sensitivity is 100% correlated with creativity. So I say thank you very much. But I get what you're talking about. Someone is criticizing me and putting me down based on my traits, right? My personality, sort of who I am in the world, like there's something wrong with me. Mm-hmm. So like it's like the precursor to gaslighting almost.
Oh, it's definitely gaslighting because they're dismissing you for who you are. And basically it's like a psychological manipulation and it's making you question your own reality. Yeah. And so it's like it's revealing their own inability to accept you, and they're testing you to a certain extent because they don't really know how to embrace your own strength. And it plants a seed of self-doubt.
Right. Especially, when you're growing up as a kid, your own self-image is very, very much shaped by what you are told by people who are supposed to know better. So yeah, for sure. Z Queen says narcissist.
Mm-hmm.
That would be someone who is an emotional predator,
Yeah,
because everything. I think my best definition of narcissist is someone, well, who has blind faith in themselves. Number one, that's the funny one. I had one client like that. And he literally would walk around, have, those letters when we used to sign it, love, right? And your name. His would be love and join the millions who already do. That's a narcissist. And that every single person on the planet is there to serve them, to make them happy. So there's no one else has needs that are more important than mine. That's my realistic definition of narcissist.
Yeah, and it shows their inability to handle someone who knows their own self-worth.
Yeah, because they're threatened by it. And Z is saying that narcissist is the emotional predator. So that's another name for emotional predator, I think, is what she's saying.
Yeah, it's a form of energetic violence, if you think about it, because think about how you feel after you leave that conversation. Think about the energy that you have. And so I want people to start reframing how they interact with people, the energy that you feel when you interact with people. Remember, we were talking about the energy of a conversation and those people who suck the life out of you.
Well, energy vampires, right?
Right.
Isn't that yeah.
Yeah, I call them energy vampires, and they just literally suck the life out of you. And so they're just like, and I believe some certain conversations will do that, and you get off, you walk away from the conversation, whether it's in person, whether it's on the phone, and you just feel drained. And then another conversation or a statement, this is sometimes the worst, or I'm just being honest, or I'm just telling the truth, especially if it's followed by something really cruel. Because we talk about saying something kind, but if it's followed by something that's being cruel, this is a way to just manipulate you. And they're using honesty as a weapon. And truly, they really lack empathy, and they really enjoy causing pain, because a person who really loves you, they want to build you up and not tear you down, because kindness does not have to be, kindness should be healthy, and it shouldn't be painful. And they are actually using it, honesty, wearing a mask of virtue.
Yes. Oh, huge point. Huge point. I will go on record as saying there is never, ever, ever, ever a time for brutal honesty. You can be honest and non-brutal, but there is never a situation, not one, where brutal honesty is warranted. That is a moose drop. And everybody does not have a right to your opinion. When I do executive coaching, this is the number one leadership development. This is graduate school, where leaders tell me, but I have to be honest. You don't always have to be honest, and not everybody needs to know what your opinion is. Certainly, as a leader, there is a time and a place. However, there are lots of us, especially in America, who think that it is our God-given right, plus the amendment, to say whatever the fork it is that we're thinking, cruel, leading. And that's dropped the mic literally. I just realized it. My boom arm. I sold my boom arm when I was supposed to go on tour, and now the new one has not arrived. So therefore, literal mic drops. But being kindly, right? I have to tell you, and my unfortunately, my tiger mom on steroids she was really good at this, where she would say something so cruel like, why did you turn out so ugly? Right? When I was pregnant with your brother, I looked at ugly masks and ugly things, and he turned out so beautiful. And with you, I looked at the beautiful tulips, and you turned out so ugly. And if I reacted to that, she would say, I have to be honest, I'm your mother. So I learned that. Thank God never did that to my kids. And I can say that 100%. Our only job was to do better than our parents. And what you said, she did love me though, even though it doesn't sound like she loves you. Before she died, I came to the conclusion that she loved me in the best way she knew how. Wasn't great, but she did love me. So that statement that you only love someone if you're kind to them, some people can be loving and erred in their ways of showing their love. So
absolutely. Yeah, I believe there's definitely love there, but they may not know how to adequately show it. I don't know if I said that they didn't love you. I don't think I made that statement. But if I did, that was a mistake. Remember, mistakes. But I definitely think that they may not know how to love. And that's an issue there. And we'll get into that later in the next half of the show.
Yes, and it is time to take a break for news, weather, and traffic. And we will be right back. And a word from our sponsor. We'll be right back. Don't go away. Great discussion. Great topic, Dr. Tiffanie, as usual. And we've got active cashew gallery. We'll get back to those comments right after we take a break. Yeah, we'll be back in 2 and 2. Peace in, peace out. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
Hello, my name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate. In America, I want to be your next United States House of Representatives congressperson. Here in California, we need help. The economy needs to be better. Schools need to be better. Healthcare needs to be better. As a veteran of the United States Navy, I understand what we need. I understand policy. As a board-certified OBGyn, I understand the needs of healthcare. I've spent over 20 years problem solving. As a mother, I understand the needs of the community because I've raised 2 children in public school. Visit my website at Dr. Tate for Congress. That is DrTateforCongress.com. Learn about me. Consider making a donation to my campaign. Help me support you. My name is Dr. Tiffanie Tate, and I approve this message. Thank you.
Take back your life with Dr. Marissa Pei.
And we're back. You're tuned in to Take My Advice. I'm not using it. Get Balance with Dr. Marissa, the morning show here on KCAA, home to the Asian Opera, #1 talk in the IE. Thank you very much. And streaming everywhere, iHeartRadio, Spotify, and of course, my YouTube TV channel. Please hit the free subscribe button. Give me the finger, not that one, but this one. And tune in every weekday morning for this show about hope and happiness. And it is Wednesday, as you can tell from my beautiful Inside and Out co-host, Dr. Tiffanie Tate. It's time for Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
And what are we talking about today?
We are talking about emotional predators.
And I just gave a horrific example, Z, of what I grew up with. And, you know, I am grateful for everything that's happened in my life, even the hard ones, because I believe that when you have pain like that in childhood, you grow a superpower. If you can move past the pain, you will land in power. And because of that very strong emotional predator that I grew up with, I developed specialized abilities to have compassion, to be resilient, and other things. So, but at the same time, yeah, it did suck a little.
Now, you know, another statement is when you try to express your needs. If you say, please don't be late, or I want you to call more, like if you're in a relationship with someone, or I would like for us to spend more time together, or you just want to express your boundaries. And when you express what you need to feel safe, or respected or valued in the relationship, but they feel that their freedom is more important than your feelings, that's kind of a concern. Because if you're like saying, I need you to call, if you're going to be X, Y, and Z, or I don't like it when you do blank, 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 or blankety blank, or I need us just to spend more time together. And they're like, okay, I don't want to do that. You can either stay or you can either go, because you're being clear about your standards, and yet they're being completely dismissive, but they're just not interested in loving you well. They want to love you, but they don't want to love you the way you want to be loved.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was just interviewed on another podcast, and she was very, she loved the things that I was saying, and so she used the last half of the podcast show to ask me questions about how to handle certain situations in life. And so she was saying, you know, what do I do with people who are just consistently mean to me, or sucking my energy, or all of that? And my response was, and why do you keep them around you? Why do you choose to keep them around you? And boy, that was not what she was expecting to hear. I went, she's like, oh, wow, that is exactly the lesson in this. Is if you continue to be surrounded by people who are emotional predators, at some point, I'm going to ask you what you're getting out of that, because you attract where you are. So when you are needy, you will attract people who will take advantage of your need. But if you are self-sufficient 80% of the time, you know who you are, you're grounded in that, no one's going to shake you, you bake your own cake, compliments and criticism are just icing, then you're not going to have a lot of emotional predators. Or if they come in, they're going to get bumped out pretty quick, because you don't have anything holding them there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a little something to think about.
Food for thought.
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
The comment Zeke Queen was making here, and this is true. I mean, we are shifting every generation, even between generations, we're evolving. And I think it's so good, like you just did, to recognize that it may not be right or wrong, it's useful or not, but it is something that was, and they learned it from their parents and the generation before. So we can acknowledge that it wasn't great, but going forward and blaming them for everything is also not great. That's why I say our only job is to do a little better than our parents did.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think as we continue to grow and we continue to shift, we can evolve. And that's all we can be expected to do, is just to try to evolve. I think Maya Angelou put it best. She said, you do the best you can, and when you know better, you do better.
Absolutely. Um, do you have any other definitions? Did we go through all of
Yes.
those definitions?
No. Another
I
one
have a funny
was
story, but I don't want to. I want to make sure you
okay.
get all the categories.
Okay. So you've changed, but not in a good way. Have you ever had somebody said that? You've changed, but not in a good way. And this implies some form of disappointment. It kind of makes you want to abandon your own growth, because they fell in love with the you that served their needs and not your needs. And I thought that was interesting, because I've heard that before.
Yes, names will be kept out to protect the guilty.
Right. And we should embrace our growth. Growth is a good thing. We should be evolving over time. Evolution is a good thing. Just like she said about our parents, we want to evolve. I want my children to be better than me. I mean, and I want their children to be better than them. It should be a growth thing. That's just an expectation.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just jogged in my memory. It's very common for kids who've had childhood trauma or emotional predators that raise them to then choose mates who resemble that. And I'm classic. I did that. So I just gave you what my mom said to me, ugly, fat, and clumsy. So that was my song that I grew up with against me, the predator song against me. So then what do? I turn around and I pick a man who introduces me as obese behind my back. I attracted him. I didn't work through those insecurities that I had been feeling. Therefore, what do? I attract someone who is attracted to that needy. I need approval. And I go to Tractor for milk. I went to a Tractor for milk. Tractors don't give milk, just in case you don't get that analogy. But I was used to that. I was constantly trying to get love from my mom, and that just transferred to the next, key relationship. So if this at all sounds familiar to you, and you're complaining about your mate, I would ask you to examine, and you're accusing them of being an emotional predator, then I would say, have you done the work so that you don't attract emotional predators?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it makes it seem like love is conditional, like you don't deserve it. And you shouldn't have to work for love. You deserve to be loved, and you deserve to be loved as you are. You shouldn't have to change yourself for love. I mean, love is a two-way street. It does require work. You shouldn't just have to say, yeah, I'm gonna sit around and just expect to be loved. No, you do have to do some work in a relationship. Everybody puts in some work, but you don't need to change to be loved. And they should love you. Go ahead and do your relationship thing.
How did you know?
Everybody puts in some work. You should meet in the middle. Right. And so, and it's interesting because every moment you spend trying to convince someone to treat you well is a moment you are not available for someone who would never love you as you are. And you don't need to waste your time accepting crumbs.
Definite moose drop. I did it twice. You didn't see the first time, and you didn't see the second time. But I gave you 2 moose drops on that one. I think that that's a huge law of attraction principle. I'd like to highlight what Dr. Tiffanie just said, that our habit is to complain about the person you're with. And when you complain about something, you're saying, I want better. Instead of going with your desire for better and then looking for better, you tend to focus on what's wrong over and over and over again. So your eyes don't even see what is a result of your expressed desire. So it's up to us to quit looking at what we don't like, and move to look for, where is it that I do like it? Mm-hmm. Excellent, Dr. T.
And then there's one last one for the people who are being strung along in a relationship. Some people might say, I'm not ready for a relationship, or a commitment is something that you deserve. But this is a form of emotional manipulation if they are introducing you as their partner and they're doing all the things like they want to be in a relationship, but they are just stringing you along and you have hopes of being in a relationship, but then they circle back after months or years later, and then they say, but I told you I didn't want to be in a relationship. And then you don't really want to leave because you're like, well, maybe it might turn into something. And so you see that you're quasi in a relationship, or you're not really in a relationship, and they're introducing you to their family and they're introducing you to their friends, but they're like, I'm not really in a relationship with you. So you're in this relationship limbo, but they're not ready for a relationship. So what is it that you want? And so the reality is, a person who really wants to be in a relationship with you, they move with intention. They are committed to you, and you deserve that. You do not deserve to be in limbo.
Who sings that song that Put a Ring on It?
Beyonce.
Yeah. That's what came to mind. It's a very, relationships are a tricky thing, as hashtag ageless, but I'm, dipping different parts of my body in the dating pool and still swipe or no swiping. The story I was going to tell you was, remember the date I had at brunch where the lady next to our table came over and said to my date, you're talking too much. And yeah, so I had another one. And I wish I had gotten the number of the woman, because I don't know what I'm doing to attract. Well, I know exactly what I'm doing. I am attracted to successful, strong alpha males who are very good at talking about themselves, which is good. And I'm practicing not talking about myself, which is good, new behavior, and letting them take the lead, letting them have that limelight that I usually have because of my work. And Dr. Tiffanie, to his credit, he actually asked me questions about myself, which was different than the other day. And then when I would answer him, he literally did this. That was a yawn for those not watching and listening. And not,
I don't have on my pearls, but I'm clutching them.
Not one time, but 3 different times. I waited till the 3rd time and I said, am I boring you? You're yawning. This is the 3rd time. And he goes, oh, I'm just getting oxygen. Oh. So I let it go. And then I'm all for, I love it when men take charge. We're going to meet at this time at this restaurant. That I love that, right? I don't, what do you want to do? I like that level of, but then he overdid it. It was like, I love reading menus and 6 o'clock. So dinner and beautiful place. And he goes, I've been here so many times. I know the menu and this is what we're going to get. Okay, if we want any more, we'll order more. So it was calamari, appetizer, and a salad. Served me one thing of salad and then proceeded to pretty much eat everything. And then when the waiter came to say, would you like anything else? He goes, no, didn't ask if there's anything else. Yeah. So needless to say, another one bites the dust. That was date number 35. So I've been on 35 first dates, 2 second dates, 1 third date, 1 fourth date, and that's it. And I think I'm going to get a dog, Dr. Tiffanie. You know, I said I don't want to get a dog because then I'll never date again. I think we're there.
Well, I'm going to say don't give up hope. I'm going to say try something different. Instead of the alpha male, maybe, take off the alpha and just go with a male.
I don't know. Maybe yeah. Anyways.
And because maybe they're too strong-headed. Just maybe.
I don't know. We'll see. Mahjong's great. I think I'll stick to Mahjong. But yeah, that is a form of, if I had stayed with someone like that, total emotional predator. And this is the part you were saying, you kind of lose yourself because you are wanting to please the other person. You know, you're always looking to them for a reaction on how you're doing. Please, folks, I'm so grateful. At the Monday at the Mission, I got to look in the eyes of these beautiful young girls and say to them, you can do anything you put your heart and mind to, which is what my 10th grade math teacher said to me. He knew I was not having good experiences at home, and he kept me after class, and he looked at me and said that. And it will stay with me for the rest of my life, and I pass that forward every time I get the chance to speak to young people. I look them in the eye and tell them that. So, yeah.
Absolutely. And I think that as long as you stay true to who you are and remain authentic, you'll be fine. And as long as you're continuing in your community service, he might just be drawn to you. You may not have to find him. So that's something that you can consider, because it might just happen. So don't work so hard.
Yeah, I think I'm going to stop watching Dora the Explorer with the swiper no swiping, or listen to Dora the Explorer. All right, we're coming up near the end of the show. Was there any other research that you were covering on emotional predator that you have not covered?
No, I think that that's the main thing. I think the most important thing is that when you are out there, pay attention to the conversations that you're having with people. How do you feel after your conversations? And how does your body feel? Because your body keeps the score and your energy does not lie. And when you are walking away from people who don't value you, that is not cruel. That is called self-love. And we have to remember that, because a lot of times we stay and deal with situations that we don't need to be in, whether it is friendships, whether it is jobs, and whether it is a romantic relationship. We have to place ourselves first in those situations, and don't let these energy vampires suck it all out of you. You need to trust your intuition, because love is about creating safety and not testing your limits.
Absolutely. And you know, I've been known to say that we can get to world peace really quickly just to balance out the accusation that someone is an emotional predator in your life, and he's just really someone who's not that into you. Wouldn't it be great if every person, when they were in a relationship and it isn't working out, to not go so quickly to the quiz, Are you dating an emotional predator? Are you dating an emotional vampire? Are you dating a narcissist? Signs of dating. Instead of that, just go, are we a match or not? So that's another, that's my graduate school. What I was saying before about this, and I'm so grateful. My daughters use this all the time. If you find yourself giving more than half and reaching over to do everything for them emotionally, physically, and they're only doing this, that's on you, boo. So our job is to do this and see if they come here. And if they don't come here, you're not a match. It's this, you're just not a match. And it's okay. Doesn't make them a bad person. You're just not a match. Absolutely. That's my final word. Dr. Tiffanie, what's your final word?
And my final word is, don't let someone who doesn't know your value tell you how much you're worth.
Another moose drop. I like that. Now, you're going to go back into your sessions. I'm grateful that we were able to do this live, even though you're in DC. Thank you so much, Z Queen. And Jerry, I love it when we have an active cashew gallery. I hope you've enjoyed this another scintillating episode of Doctors in the House with myself and
Dr. Tiffanie Tate.
It's all about balance, peace in, peace out, world peace through inner peace. Oh, Asian Oprah giveaway, giving another pass to the Catalina Jazz Festival, Dr. Tiffanie, on Catalina Island in Avalon for October. It's a second weekend on the Sunday. I believe it's the 16th and the 19th. But if you would like a free pair of passes for the entire Sunday, it's worth hundreds. So just go to drmarissa.life, put in your email and Asian Oprah giveaway, and I'll get those tickets to you. Because, we give stuff away here. We did this already. Dr. Tiffanie, take us out.
Now go and have the best day ever.
I'll see you tomorrow.
Take back your life.